Hello there, and thank you for tuning in to VTV News, brought to you live from Hanoi. My name is Ling Hương, and let's now get you caught up with the headlines for this bulletin. A G7 summit of industrialized nations concluded in Brussels with a joint statement about the East Sea tension. Let's take a look at the International Press Conference on the East Sea issue. And Telefilm 2014 swells up regional television and media industry. Now, first up, a G7 summit of industrialized nations concluded on Thursday in Brussels with a joint statement outlining 43 points. One of the issues mentioned was the ongoing tensions on the East Sea. We are deeply concerned by tensions in the East and South China Sea. We oppose any unilateral attempt by any party to assert its territorial or maritime claims through the use of intimidation, coercion, or force, the leader said in a joint statement. The statement, which did not mention any country by name, called on all countries to follow international law to resolve issues peacefully. The statement also emphasized the importance of freedom of navigation and aviation based on international law. This is the first time the G7 leaders have released a statement expressing concerns about tensions in Asian waters. Updates on the current situation in the East Sea. On Thursday, Vietnamese Coast Guard ships and fishery control vessels continued to approach China's oil rig Haiyang Shiyou 981, which is illegally positioned within Vietnam's exclusive economic zone and continental shelf. According to the Vietnam Fisheries Surveillance Department, on Thursday, China sent 2 more military ships to defend oil rig Haiyang Shiyou 981, which is illegally placed in Vietnam's waters. Over the past 2 days, Chinese vessels continued their provocative acts by surrounding Vietnam's fisheries surveillance ships and attacking them with water cannon. However, the Vietnamese law enforcement ships still persistently operated at about 10 nautical miles from the illegal oil rig and urged China to withdraw its oil rig and vessels from Vietnamese waters. The Vietnamese Ministry of Foreign Affairs held an international press conference on Thursday to provide updated information regarding the current situation in the East Sea. The ministry also informed the press that they had previously sent a diplomatic note to the Chinese Ministry of Foreign Affairs requesting the removal of China's illegal oil rig so that the two countries could begin the negotiation process. At the press conference, Ha Lê, Deputy Director of the Vietnam Fisheries Control, said that Chinese vessels has intentionally attacked and threatened Vietnam's fishery control vessels. More seriously, Chinese vessels also rammed and sank Vietnamese fishing boats, even though they were working on their legal fishing ground. I confirm that all of the attacked fishing boats were carrying out their normal activity on Vietnam's sovereign waters. China's actions violate the 1982 United Nations Convention on the Law of the Sea and the DOC, and their actions have a negative impact on the lives and the properties of Vietnamese fishermen. We are strongly opposed to such inhumane actions. In response to a statement made by the Chinese Ministries of Foreign Affairs spokesperson Hua Chunying that Vietnamese vessels rammed into Chinese ships more than 120 times, threatening the security of Chinese ships and their crew members, Chen Duy-hai, deputy head of Vietnam's National Border Committee, confirmed that such a statement was not the truth. The statement made by China's spokesperson Hua Chunying is not a truthful account. You have just seen the footage of Chinese ships attacking Vietnamese vessels. It has even been reported on Chinese online newspapers. This footage makes both Vietnamese people and the international community indignant at Chinese actions. Vietnamese people and the government are keen on resolving the matter through peaceful measures. Also at the press conference, Chen Duy-hai said that on May the 23rd, Vietnam for the second time sent China a diplomatic note requesting the removal of the Haiyang Shiyou 981 oil rig. However, up until now, China has yet to respond. Most recently, on Wednesday, June the 4th, Vietnam sent the third diplomatic note to China's ministries of foreign affairs.
Nam sẽ tiếp tục kiên trì.
We have made several attempts to resolve these tensions, but China continues to disregard our efforts. However, we will persist in resolving the matter through diplomacy and peaceful measures.
The Vietnamese Ministries of Foreign Affairs once again stressed that Vietnam wants the international community, as well as domestic and international press, to remain impartial and to voice their opposition to China's wrongdoings. According to Bình Dương City People's Committee, 99% of enterprises affected during the recent outburst of public disorder have resumed operation. The remaining 1% cannot yet return to full production because they suffered such severe damage. Over the past few days, both investors and workers have been collaborating with local authorities to try and stabilize production.
Viet Sing Company was amongst the worst affected companies during the recent incidents. The company is still in the process of repairing damage to its property. However, the company's management board is optimistic about the future of their company and is encouraged by Bình Dương economic indicators. The first batch of goods will be delivered to its customers this month, as was previously planned.
My motto is to get up again right where I fall. I've worked in Vietnam for 20 years. I have many loyal workers, and I believe Vietnam offers a very good investment environment. I hope the local authority will continue to support us, just as they do today.
The Prime Minister recently asked the relevant ministries and local authorities to provide efficient support to damaged enterprises. In Bình Dương, the city leaders are speeding up the process of settling paperwork, cutting tariffs and reducing interest rates so that damaged enterprises have favorable investment conditions.
In order to support enterprises, we've asked all the branches to clear up the export-import paperwork, provide documentation and online support, etc. over Saturday and Sunday. We have established a working group to closely follow enterprises to provide immediate support. We are also trying our best to restore the image of Bình Dương as one of the top destinations for foreign investors.
In Bình Dương province, 99% of enterprises affected during the recent incidents have resumed operation. 97% of the workers at these enterprises have returned to work and their stable everyday lives. Moving on with other news, the Ministry of Planning and Investment held a conference on Thursday to announce the overall socio-economic development plan for Vietnam's Southern Key Economic Zone and the Mekong Delta region until 2020. The plan aims to help Vietnam become a modern industrial country. The zone is expected to achieve a GDP growth rate of 8.5 to 9% each year until 2020, with 95% of its GDP coming from the industry, construction and services sectors. The Mekong Delta region will continue to focus on food production as the nation's leading agricultural exporter. According to the plan, Ho Chi Minh City will become a multi-purpose economic center to match foreign rivals in the region. Samsung Group plans to invest over $1 billion on the construction of an electronics production factory in the Saigon High-Tech Park in Ho Chi Minh City. Samsung decision shows that investors have confidence in the city's efforts to promote administrative reform and offer preferential policies to foreign businesses. Entering Vietnam in 1995, Samsung has mobile phone factories in the northern provinces of Bắc Ninh and Thái Nguyên. In March 2013, the group began the construction of a second high-tech complex in Thái Nguyên at a cost of $2 billion, which will house the largest Samsung mobile phone factory in the world. More to come on VTV News. Telefilm 2014 swallows up regional television and media industry.
Now let's take a look at how locals in Khánh Hòa province join hands to protect a mangrove forest. Stay tuned. Welcome back to VTV News live from Hanoi. Now, Thailand's acting Minister of Foreign Affairs Sihasak Phongketkeong is currently in Hanoi for a working visit. He was received by Vietnam's Deputy Prime Minister and Minister of Foreign Affairs Phạm Bình Minh on Thursday.
During their discussions, Thailand's acting Minister of Foreign Affairs Sihasak informed his host that Thailand's National Council for Peace and Order is now preparing for the general elections. He also affirmed that Thailand will remain its long-standing friendship with Vietnam. On the EC issue, Vietnam's Deputy Prime Minister and Minister of Foreign Affairs Phạm Bình Minh suggested that Thailand, as an ASEAN-China relations coordinator, join ASEAN to create a common voice in regard to the region's security and development based on international laws.
I think, these developments, this incident, shows why we have to move forward with the negotiations, discussion on the code of conduct.
Phạm Bình Minh expressed his hope that Thailand will stabilize situations to develop the country, contributing to the region's peace, stability and cooperation, as well as the establishment of the ASEAN community in 2015. Vietnam also expects Thailand to ensure safety for Vietnamese nationals in Thailand, creating good conditions for them to live, work and travel in the country.
A Vietnamese delegation led by Vice President Nguyễn Thị Doan is taking part in the 24th Global Summit of Women, which opened in Paris on Thursday. At a press conference prior to the summit, Vice President Nguyễn Thị Doan revealed that Vietnam has fulfilled and even surpassed 6 out of the 8 Millennium Development Goals as set out by the United Nations. Doan emphasized that Vietnam had achieved the goal for gender equality and noted that Vietnamese women had made substantial contributions towards achieving these goals. The summit, which is the largest global forum to promote women's role and status, will run until Saturday under the theme Women, Redesigning Economies, Societies. It has attracted over 1,000 delegates from more than 70 countries worldwide. Vietnam Television is hosting the 3-day Vietnam International Exhibition on Film and Television Technology, or Telefilm 2014, in Ho Chi Minh City. In its second year, Telefilm 2014 has attracted more than 300 exhibitors from over 250 domestic and foreign companies, as well as more than 25 countries and territories.
After a successful collaboration with Vietnam Television on the feature film The Partner, Japan's TBS is looking for more opportunities to work in Vietnam and corner the country's 90 million audience. TBS has already received invitation to co-produce TV shows at this year's telefilm with privately owned Vietnamese broadcasting firms.
Vietnam is a potential market for future cooperation, and Telefilm is a good opportunity for Vietnamese companies to gain experience and collaborate with international broadcasters.
Telefilm is giving us a lot of new leads, new possibilities to visit new customers in Vietnam. And also we have contacts now to Laos and Cambodia.
In its second year, the exhibition has expanded to include equipment, supplies, technology and solutions for studios and content production and post-production, not only for television, but also for the media and communication industry. Several Vietnamese media companies have signed contracts with foreign partners at Telefilm 2014. I hope this firm will find this event more and more helpful. With the advantage, a 90 million audience and a growing demand in the field of media, Vietnam is expected to become one of the top choices for film and television companies from around the world, with a professional investment strategy and long-term cooperation.
Like many other broadcasting firms, VTV hopes to find more cooperation opportunities through this event. In the future, this could be a potential exchange market for TV and media firms.
Telefilm has become an annual event for both domestic and international broadcasting firms. And in 2015, the exhibition is expected to grow by a further 50%.
The 2014 theme for the World Environment Day, or June 5th, focuses on measures to prevent sea level rise. With its 3,000-kilometer-long coastline, Vietnam has been suffering in recent years from the impacts of sea level rise and extreme weather. The country has received a lot of support from the international community to mitigate the negative impacts of climate change.
Rising sea levels are considered a future peril for Vietnam. The Ministries of Natural Resources and Environment forecast that in the next 100 years, the country may witness a temperature increase of 2 to 3% and a rise of 70 to 100 centimeters in sea level, resulting in a loss of 12% of the Red River Delta area and 40% of the Mekong Delta cultivated area.
The Mekong Delta is one of the 3 areas most seriously affected by climate change throughout the world. The socio-economic development of this area has also brought with it many other environmental issues besides rising sea levels. These issues may affect the sustainable development of the region. International experience is vital to solving these problems.
Vietnam's National Target Program has received aid and preferential loans worth up to $1 billion since 2010 to deal with climate change, as well as Japan, France, Australia, the Netherlands, and Denmark. The World Bank has also helped Vietnam develop related policies, improve infrastructure, and make use of renewable energy sources.
Vice Chairman, it's a pleasure to be here.
The World Bank is increasing its attention to climate change, and we're in the process of mainstreaming climate change in our investment lending portfolio. So today we stand at about 1.5 million for climate change projects.
Other non-governmental organizations like Oxfam and the World Wildlife Fund have also implemented many projects to help Vietnamese people cope with climate change.
Developed countries can help Vietnam develop policies and large projects, while NGOs can come up with solutions to help local residents deal with changes in climate. We should combine these 2 valuable supports.
It takes a lot of time and money to adapt to and mitigate the negative impacts of climate change. The Ministries of Natural Resources and Environment, together with the Ministries of Finance, has recently established the Green Climate Fund to mobilize more support from international community in this area.
Locals in the central province of Khánh Hòa are working together to cultivate mangrove forests in their shrimp ponds and marshes, showing a change in people's attitudes towards protecting the marine environment. In recent years, mangrove forests in Vietnam have shrunk dramatically, having a negative impact on the marine environment. That's why prompt actions are needed to recover the mangroves. We'll take a closer look in the following report.
Like many other aquaculture farmers from Tân Đảo village in Khánh Hòa province, Huy has started to grow mangroves in his aquaculture ponds. This idea might have sounded odd to them in the past, but now they have realized it is the best way of guaranteeing success for their businesses.
Before the mangrove trees were reintroduced,
The water here was dirty. Aquatic creatures couldn't live here. But now we have abandoned fish, shrimp, and many other aquatic creatures.
The mangrove forests here have clearly shown the importance to the environment, and farmers who used to destroy the mangrove have started to grow them again. Collecting ripe mangrove fruit and looking after the tree is now part of Quý routine.
Now we understand the role of mangrove forest, and we're doing this to help ourselves.
In 2008, a project was started in Ninh commune in Khánh Hòa province, funded by a Japanese organization, to plant 20,000 mangrove trees each year, which cover about 2 hectares. Now Ninh has more than 20 hectares of mangrove forest, but this figure can be compared to the forest that were destroyed in the past. The good thing is that local farmers here clearly understand that they need to try more. The local farmers had to pay for what they did to mangrove forests in the past. Now the awareness of the forest importance is clear. Many farming households have planted mangrove trees themselves without being told. A clean environment is returning to Ninh thanks to the recovering of mangrove forest. They have also sent a message to the local community here that they can only survive when they protect the environment.
And VTV News will now continue with several online news about Vietnam. Our first news of the day comes from the Japan Times. Japan and Vietnam have agreed to co-produce a film for the first time, based on a novel about an expat Japanese family and their bonds with the Vietnamese community. Filming is due to start in November, with the release expected in July. The film is based on a Miyuki Komatsu novel titled Echiko's Grandma Goes to Vietnam, about a Japanese woman who works for a local broadcaster and lives with her mother who has dementia. The film will be directed by Kazuki Omuro and feature Keiko Masuzaka. The ambassador for Sri Lanka in Hanoi continues with a program of outreach for the social fabric of Vietnam through various Buddhist spiritual Renaissance activities. One such program is the inauguration of Dhamma and meditation classes with special emphasis on the youth of Vietnam, with collaboration with the bhikkhus and bhikkhunis of local pagodas and the blessings of the Vietnam Buddhist Sangha. This program was conducted recently at the ancient Linh Thong Pagoda on the outskirts of Hanoi. VOV Voice of Vietnam reports that Hanoi has been listed in the top 3 cities with the most crowded retail market in Asia-Pacific region in 2014, after China's Beijing and Shanghai. A new study on crowded level of retail markets in the Asia-Pacific region by commercial real estate firm CBRE showed that China's Beijing and Shanghai took first and second places in the rank respectively. Hanoi was also ranked 13th in the list of 19 most crowded retail markets in the world. The study also revealed that Hanoi, Ho Chi Minh City, and Da Nang City were among 10 cities where retailers plan to open the highest number of shops in 2014. Hanoi accounted for 36% of those, which was equal to Berlin and Shanghai. This is the 3rd consecutive year that Hanoi has been listed in the top 10 cities, which attracted new brands.
Bernamar.com has the first figure for today. Vietnam's pepper industry will for the first time make a full-year record growth of $1 billion from exports this year, buoyed by a bumper harvest and high prices. Vietnam Pepper Association revealed that pepper exports are expected to hit 150,000 tons in 2014. In the first 5 months of this year, the sector shipped 92,000 tons of pepper, worth $645 million. The United States, Singapore, and India top the list of buyers in constituting 40% of the country's pepper exports, according to the Ministries of Agriculture and Rural Development. Vietcombank plans to sell 1.1 trillion Vietnamese dong, or $52.38 million worth of bad debts this year, the same amount of last year. Bank Deputy General Director Dao Hao said on Wednesday. The bank aims to achieve credit growth of 13% this year. Meanwhile, loans grew only 3.16% in the first 5 months of this year. In the 5 months leading up to June 1st, Southern Dong Nai Province has garnered $588.2 million in foreign direct investment or FDI. According to the Provincial Department of Planning and Investment, the department reported that newly committed FDI for 28 new projects amounted to nearly $248 million, while supplemental capital for 25 existing projects is more than $340 million. FDI capital for 5-month period equates to 140% of that for the same period last year and amounts to 70% of this year's plan. The investment license for a single $4.3 million FDI project was revoked due to slow implementation during the period.
And now, as usual, let's take a look at the weather updates. The weather forecast just wrapped up our news bulletin at this hour. Thank you very much for being with us. You can go to vtv4.vn for other updates. And for now, goodbye from Hanoi.